Hey, Michigan Maniacs. This is the Michigan Maniac Podcast, and I am your host, Adam Brewer. This is the big game pregame Rutgers. Before we get into it, guys, go ahead and we'll go ahead and do some housekeeping there. Uh, Go to YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, like fan page. Everything is going to be under Michigan Maniacs, or actually Maniac Podcast. That's what we're doing. Maniac Podcast or Maniac Memes. Anything like that, you'll see my big cartoonish face, and you'll know you're home, right? So go ahead, like it, follow it, leave a review. If you want to go ahead and just trash the show, go for it, but leave at least a 5-star review, because there was a guy earlier in the season that left a 5-star review and trashed it, and then I had a response, and it was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it, so I don't mind that, because if it's actual good stuff, I may take it into consideration, but this guy was full of shit, so either way, it's a lot of fun for both of us. Or love it. I mean, most of you guys do love it. I can't wait to hear and talk to you guys and have a good time. It's just been fantastic so far because we're winning and everything looks great. So, with that being said, let's get into this. Okay, I know a lot has been said recently, right? Of Rutgers. Okay, yes, they're 3-0. They haven't given over. They haven't had any turnovers. Shiano is much better than Chris Ash, so they're just not going to roll over. There's a lot of positives for Rutgers, right? And I think it is a good test for us going into Wisconsin, because I think it'll be something this team, we can pretty much do whatever the hell we want to them. Okay, I know they're 3-0. I get it. But have you watched any of their games? Do me a favor. If you want to be bored out of your skull and be so confident that we may put 70 on this team. We put 63 on North Illinois. I think we could put 70 on fucking Rutgers. I'll be honest with you. This team is straight garbage. 100% garbage. I don't know how they're 3-0. I don't know how they're 3-0. Well, actually, to be quite honest, I do know how they're 3-0. They played Temple in Delaware. That's how they played That's how they're 3-0. And they played Syracuse. Oh, they played Syracuse at Syracuse. Ooh, what giant beater Syracuse us. And just so you know, when they played Syracuse, the first touchdown that they scored, that Rutgers scored, was with 6 minutes left in the third quarter. The first points of the game against the Syracuse Orangemen came with 6 minutes left in the third. You heard me right, the third quarter. They then went on a scoring spree and scored 17 whole points. They scored 10 more points, guys. 10 more points. They are juggernauts. We should put 70 on this team. I'm not even kidding. I was cautiously optimistic that we could put 40 on them. I was like, yeah, you know what? I've seen the scores. They put 61 on Temple. You know who else Temple's played? BYU. Not BYU. Boston College. Boston College put 24 on them. Temple sucks. And then Temple played some other team and barely won that one. Who gives a shit? Temple's 1-2. Delaware, the little knockoff school that tries to look like Michigan. They're 2-1, but they played no one. They're not I think they're high school teams. I don't even know who Delaware plays, but they're high school teams as far as I know. They might even be intramural college sports. I think they played a Frolf team. And fucking beat them into the ground. But that's the Frolf team. And we're worried about Rutgers? Now listen, if we don't come to play, we're going to be in another overtime game with these knuckleheads. Or triple overtime game, whatever that disgrace was last season. Okay? But, well, actually, I don't even think that's possible. I really don't think that's possible. I think we can show up and not take them seriously and still beat them by 20 points. But if we show up like we did against Northern Illinois, and we show up against like we've done all season long, we're going to put 70 on Rutgers. count it right now. We're going to put 70 on this team. Their offensive line is garbage, 100% garbage. Syracuse was getting pressure on Noah Vedral all game long. I think they got 2 sacks. 2 sacks. Syracuse got 2 sacks. You know how hard it is to get sacks in college football when you're a shitty team like Syracuse? But they got 2 sacks. Just to give you an idea, their vaunted running attack is Isaiah Pacheco, which is a big boy. He can move some piles, right? He only has 140. Well, he only has 140. Oh man, I'm looking at the wrong page. I'm looking at the. Never mind. We'll get to that in a minute. Oh my God, where am I? I'm so sorry, guys. He only has 152 yards rushing on 45 rushes. He has 3 touchdowns, so that means they use him in the red zone a lot. But still, 152 yards rushing in 3 games. So no rushing attack. Vedral, that means you're on the golden arm of Noah Vedral. Not even Noah Vedral's mother watches Noah Vedral play football. Okay? The only real talent I think they have is that Bo Melton. Or Melton. Bo Melton. He looks like he's got some talent. Okay? It looks like it. I mean, he's had 20 receptions for 227 and 2 touchdowns. And that was the only bright spot that I saw in that Syracuse game. Is that he was able to get open. Sometimes. But Rutgers' offensive line, pure garbage. Can't block. Syracuse got 2 sacks on him. Their defensive line, Syracuse was running on them. Their defensive backs stink. I don't know how, like, literally, for them to be 3-0 and for people to start talking this up like Schiano's got them back on track. No, Schiano's got them to where they're not scared anymore. That's the only difference between him and Chris Ash as of now. Now listen, he'll probably turn it around, fine. But listen, for him to be able to, like, you can only put so much lipstick on a pig and call it and make it look good. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can only do so much. He's got them just not afraid anymore. He's got them where they won't lay down. But I'll be honest with you. It's like the short, fat, pudgy guy that gets drunk in a bar and talks shit to the biggest guy in the bar. That short, fat, pudgy guy may not be scared, but he's not going to win the fight. Rutgers is not going to win this game. Like, this is the easiest thing I have never seen tape like this. I purposely watched that game because they beat Syracuse 17-7. So I wanted to see what they did against not even a real school, but I think they're in the Power 5. I think they're in the ACC. So I wanted to see what they do against a school that plays top-notch talent, I would say Florida State, but North Carolina, and not even North Carolina, I'm not a big fan, but they seem to be getting hyped a little bit, and then also Clemson. I wanted to see, because Syracuse plays them on a yearly basis, so I want to see what Rutgers would do against like talent. They can beat lower-level teams in Power 5 conferences by 10 points. That's all this is. I may even change my prediction. I said I think we're going to win. I said 41-17. I'm telling you, we may win 70-17. Because if we dick around, because what you're going to see is, the one thing that I did see that Rutgers did, and I know they're probably going to attempt in the first 2 drives of the game, right, is you're going to see a lot of that RPO, because we had a hard time with it. I wouldn't even say a hard time, but most of Northern Illinois' big plays came off of Rocky Lombardi keeping it and then running it himself on the RPO. They did that with some success against Syracuse, so I expect to see that. And then I also expect to see some quick outs to the wide out, because Noah Vedral's going to have zero time to do anything. They stink. I mean, they audibly stink. Like, I can't. Please do yourself a favor. Go just check out the highlights of and it's about an 18-minute version. And I'm telling you, by minute 6, you're going to want to blow your brains out. But just punish yourself for a minute and watch all 18 minutes of that condensed game between Rutgers and Syracuse, and you will have no fear. The only thing that can get us in trouble this week is if Michigan doesn't take them seriously and plays like shit. That is the only way we're going to have trouble this week. I can't even tell you. Like, this episode's almost over because there's nothing to break down. Like, what we need to do, this is a great game for us because we can literally do whatever we want. Whatever we want, we're going to be able to do. We're going to put another 350 yards rushing on them. Easy. We may have 350 yards rushing by halftime. McNamara could get in any pass he wants to. He's going to try it out, see what he can do. Because I'm telling you, he's going to have all day to throw. This should be a blowout. Now that I say this, I'm getting worried because I don't want to jinx this. But I'm just telling you, after what I saw, who cares if they beat Temple 61-14? Who gives a shit? It's Temple. Do they even play basketball anymore? They're not even book nerds. Like, who cares? We're going to destroy this team. It's at home. We have a point to make. We got some loose ends to probably whatever we want to try before we go into a very important game, which is Wisconsin the week following. We need to do in this game. I mean, we'll be up probably 35-10 by halftime. So let's just practice, figure out what we need to do, get some of the key players, some very key reps, do whatever we need to do. But I don't know how we're going to lose this game. I don't even know how it's going to be competitive, to be quite honest with you. Now, the most obvious stars of the game in which I think are going to be, obviously, I think is going to be Aiden Hutchinson. After watching Syracuse get pressure on Noah Vedral constantly, and they have nobody. I could get pressure on Noah Vedral. Aiden Hutchinson's going to eat him up for lunch. Dominant. I would expect Brad Hawkins or Daxton Hill to get interceptions this week. I only say Brad Hawkins because I really want to see him get one. It seems like he's dropped 2 this season already, maybe 3. I think it's 2 though. He's dropped already. I would love to see him grab one. I think we're going to have plenty of opportunity for that. I think Cade McNamara offensively is going to be a star, and I think without a doubt Corum could be Corum's first 200-yard game. I'm not even kidding. We're going to put up some numbers. I think. I just worry that I think it's just last season. I keep saying this, but I think last season was just so hurtful. It just hurt so bad that it's hard for me to believe that Michigan's doing so well right now. Like I tell you, this is 2016 Michigan on steroids because every position on offense is better, minus the tight end. Defensively, defensive line 2016 better, in my opinion. Linebackers, I'm going to say we have them. This season, we have more team speed. Defensive backfield, I'm going to go with 2016. So it's kind of like a push on the defensive side, but offensively, we're vastly better. We're far superior than the 2016 team, and 2016 team walloped everyone offensively. If it wasn't for what's his nuts getting hurt, Wilton Spate, we could have beat Ohio State. We could have, and we should have. But we have way better. I'm not even going to get into that right now. But we all know what that means. The only thing that worries me is right now we look like 2016 Michigan, and they look like 2018 Ohio State. And we all know how 2018 ended. That's the only thing that worries me. We thought, come on, tell me going into that Ohio State week for at least 2 weeks leading up, especially after they almost lost to Maryland. Tell me you weren't thinking that we were going to run roughshod over Ohio State in 2018. They're looking like that, maybe even worse than 2018 Ohio State. And we look like 2016 Michigan, but better. I think this is I think this is the perfect recipe for us to get back on track. I think that I'm still worried about. In my mind, there are still two potential losses on this schedule right now. Until we beat Wisconsin, it's going to be. I'm going to worry about that game. I'm going to worry about that game because I want to see how Michigan plays when they get punched in the mouth on the road. And even though I'm not a big fan of Wisconsin, never have been, never will be, I think they're one of the most boring teams next to Iowa you will ever see play football. But still, they're good at home. They play dirty at home. You just check out some of the hits in 2019. No, yeah, 2019. That hit on Dylan McCaffrey, garbage. The 2017 hit on Brandon Peters, garbage. There's a lot of dirtiness that is attached with Wisconsin that not a lot of people talk about. Wisconsin and Indiana, in my opinion, are two of the dirtiest teams in the Big Ten the way they play football. Defensively. Oh, and even offensively. Indiana is just a bunch of garbage people. Anyways, we haven't won there in 20 years. So it's going to make me nervous. Now, do I think we can win? Yes. I think we're double digit better than Wisconsin right now. But you never know what Michigan's going to show up. And that's the thing. That is the one thing that is always hindered Harbaugh with Michigan this whole time, is that we don't show up on the road. You know what I mean? And that's what I have to see before I completely 100% just redline this hype train right into my veins, because I'm dying to do it. Like, I am dying to, like, I'm a drug addict looking at a half a pound of weed or coke sitting on my table just waiting to do it, just waiting to get that in my veins. That's what I'm waiting for when it comes to Michigan football. Just show me, please, just show me you can do this, and I will be so on board. Like, I'm dying for it. Because let's put it this way. If we beat Wisconsin by over 10 points, this is a turning point in Michigan football in Harbaugh's whole tenure. This is it. This is the turning point. The Wisconsin game coming up is a huge game. More than likely, they're going to be ranked pretty high because I don't think Notre Dame's good at all. So I think Wisconsin's got a pretty good chance of beating Notre Dame. So they're going to be 2-1 going in at home. They're ranked. We're ranked. Everybody thinks we're going to fucking shit the bed going in there. And if we go in there, we take their best shot and we beat the fuck out of them. Or even beat them by 10 points. This changes everything. This is 2016 again, because we beat them in 2016 and it elevated us to the next level until we shit the bed in Iowa and then Ohio State. But anyways, this is it. This is that game is going to be the game. Now, to get to that game, we got to get through this sack of shit we call Rutgers, okay? And don't get me wrong, Rutgers can put up a decent game if you allow them to. But if we walk in there like we've done the last 3 weeks and put our foot firmly on their throat, we should beat them by 70. It's not even a joke. Washington was vastly superior defensively than this Rutgers team. And we put 31 on them. What are we going to do to this sack of shit? Just a complete, utter sack of shit. Like, they're a tough sack of shit, but they're a sack of shit nonetheless. Like, what? I mean, telling you, we're going to do it. And now, let's get into the not-so-obvious stars of the game. It will be, in my opinion, Eric All. Watch him have a big game. I think they're going to eat up the middle on this team. I really do. I think Rutgers is primed for it. Their linebackers stink. Their defensive line is not going to get any pressure on Cade McNamara, and for them to get pressure, they're going to have to bring blitzes with the linebackers. So what does that mean? That's going to be seam passes right to Eric All, and I think he's going to eat them up all day long. So watch for Eric All to have the big game. David Ajabo, I think they're going to try and double team Aiden Hutchinson, which I don't think is going to work because they stink. And I think David Ajabo is going to eat hard this week. I think he's going to just fuck. They're going to eat up that run real bad. And So keys of the game. Take them seriously. Run the ball. And play decent defense. That's it. Like I don't even have to get real specific. This is how bad I think Rutgers is. You do a general coding and you can beat this team by 20. If we go in and we really treat them like we would treat Ohio State, we'll beat them by 60 to 70 points. Not even kidding. So with that, I'll get out of here. But I can't go without the weekly reads. All right. The weekly read this week is Oddball Betting. If you're tired of betting sports, bet Oddball. Now, with Oddball, that is just like it says, Oddball Betting. That's every other thing you can bet on outside of the sports arenas. Okay, so like this, let's just stick with Big Ten country. Okay, you have Connor Cook hobo fighting. That's right. The amazing Connor Cook, the Michigan State douchebag that flamed out in the NFL and then flamed out in any other lower level football team. You'll see him playing 7-on-7 flag football at your nearest park in probably East Lansing. He will be playing with half homeless, half drug addicts. They can't drink the water there, so watch them all be dehydrated, kind of, hallucinating. But Connor Cook, outside of playing flag football, will be fighting bums on the side, and you can bet on these fights, okay? I hear he's got one hell of a right cross. So you can bet Connor Cook to beat up a bunch of bums, or you can do a Cardell Jones spelling bee. You can bet on Cardell Jones in a spelling bee. Now, it's kind of like Are You Smarter Than a Fourth Grader format. So he's going to be going up against a bunch of fourth graders. Do you think that Cardell Jones can outspell a bunch of fourth graders? All right, there's odds on that. How many rounds will he make it? And what word will he screw up on? It says here, make a note to tell them that if it's school comes up, bet heavy on school. Because last time we checked, he did not go to Ohio State to play school. All right. Apparently, he didn't go to the NFL to play football either. What a fat-headed douche. Okay, then you can also mix and match these. You can parlay them, as they say in the betting game. You can parlay these bets with, coming up, over/under Urban Meyer. How many, fake illnesses is Urban Meyer going to say he has so he can get out of his contract with Jacksonville? Over/under, I think it's gone up now, 5 games. 5 games. Over/under 5. Urban Meyer before he fakes a heart attack on the sideline like he did against Penn State. Well, it wasn't really a heart attack, but he still acted. It was a great, it could have gotten him an Emmy. He could have gotten a raspberry. Actually, he probably was the best porn actor of his generation. So, that's what Zach Smith says, the dick showing coach that he used to have, and I think it was his brother-in-law or sister, whatever it was. Anyways, over/under 5 fake illnesses that Urban Meyer will have before he gets out of his contract with Jacksonville. Oddball betting. When you're tired of betting sports, bet oddball. Okay, guys, that's it for this week. I hope you love the big game pregame. I'm still going to stick with 41-17, but trust me, if we score over that, it's not going to shock me. If we win 55-10, 63-3, 70-6, whatever it is, don't be shocked. Because if we show up to play, our cornerbacks play a great, if our just defense shows up like it did against every other team it's played this year, we will rout this team. If we just show up and play like we did against, Washington, we will rout this team. It's not even going to be close. It's basically the big bad dude in the bar, which is us, pounding on a drunken fat guy who just decided he's been working out for about a week and a half in the bar, a week and a half in the gym, and he's going to take that, and he's got those beer muscles. That's what Rutgers is a fat Italian guy who thinks he's got beer muscles, pointing his finger in the big, strong man's face. Now listen, just because he's not scared doesn't mean he's going to win the fight. That's what this is. That's what Rutgers is. Trust me on this. So, guys, it is really great to be a fucking Michigan Wolverine. I'm telling you. Everybody and their mother thinks we're going to be great now, which I think, well, annoys me, to be quite honest with you. It absolutely 100% annoys me. Because they're like, oh, yeah, Michigan sucks. They're not going to be Washington. They're going to struggle with this. They're going to do that. And then all of a sudden, now we have, in every game we play, we are slotted or we have the percentages to say we're going to win. Even against Ohio State. And I think it's a 50-50 against Penn State at home. Or, in the Happy Valley, which will more than likely be a whiteout. So if you want to see fat, white-faced people wearing equally white T-shirts to where you can't tell their face from their T-shirt, get ready, because that's going to be the whiteout at Penn State. So guys, it's great to be a Wolverine. It really is great to be a Michigan Wolverine right now. Can't you feel us just getting more and more cocky and just loving this team? I mean, if Cade puts up 300 yards passing in this game, I don't think it's going to be amazing. I personally don't think the starters. I think it's going to be a repeat of Northern Illinois. I think you're going to see a lot of Cade. I think you're going to see a lot of JJ. And Edwards in the second half. But anyways, I'm trying to get out of here. It's great to be Michigan Wolverine, and always and forever, guys. Go blue.